Hi, I'm Van. How you doing? I have not had a chance to do much beading. I don't have a space yet for it. I can't take it no more. I gotta do something, you know. And rather than do a full project or something like that, I thought I'd do something a little simple. Let's get to it. So this is one of the very earliest sliders that I ever did, quite a long time ago, and time has not been too kind to it. Somebody's been treating it a little rough. You can see the top of the lighter here has totally separated, busted. That's partly the way I built it. I used to do the beading without a lighter inside of it, without using a form, and it was too tight, and the tension eventually got to it. And it don't take much. If it's too tight, you try and get it out of there, and you use more strength, and pop, there goes the line. And obviously the leather bottom is worn out, and what can we do to fix this, huh? Well, these beads too, these are all Toho beads that I bought on Amazon.com. I don't even know if I have enough of the same types of beads or anything. I think the repair is gonna be obvious. So now you're faced with why don't we just redo the whole thing as an option. But I figured I'd go ahead and try and repair and see what it looks like. The thing is that there's character in the repair as well, right? And we do got some there's like one place on here where a bead's totally missing that should be there. You can see this bead, if I can point it out, there's a bead right in here that's gone. See, it's missing right there. What do? I don't know. Tell you what, we'll try and repair the bottom first. That's pretty obvious what needs to happen there, and it's all in that area. Then we'll repair the top, and that has to all be cut and redone. And I don't know, that one bead there. So one thing you can see here as we started undoing the bottom is there's a bunch of strings hanging out, and you're like, well, which one is which? Well, some of these are tie-offs from where we had the bottom tied on, and it could be whatever. There's only one of these that's going to be the one that holds the beads on, and you just got to find it. It's usually the longest. After you pull off enough beads, it hangs in there, and here it is right here. And you can see that, you know, if we pull on one of the beads, yeah, this string right here, you can see that when we pull on that bead, that's the one that's holding the beads on. So all these others, we can just simply snip off. We don't care about them, and you know, maybe just melt them a little bit or something like that. No big deal, right? And we're just trying to clean up the mess. I got the strings cut off, and I'm kind of tugging to see which is which, and it'll distort the weave. So what I'm doing now is I just put this lighter onto it, you know, and try and get it all flexed out and back, kind of feeling good again. Nice and loose. You can see once I get up into this area, it starts tightening it up, and at the very top it was just too damn tight, and it eventually ripped it when the lighter was replaced. So right now we're looking good, and it's time to, I think we got enough. We can go ahead and thread up and tie this off and start thinking about what we're going to do. Okay, so we got the end tied off. I thought about it a little bit more. I want to get good symmetry here. Why not? This is all symmetrical. It's nice, right? So let's go ahead and pull off the top part. And remember, we said it was maybe a little too long. That's nice, because then we can use our beads as its own supply, and I don't have to worry about using more beads. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and rip off this top up here and get that all cleaned up. One thing I wanted to point out is that when you do pull stuff off, you want to pull off a complete row until you get back to where you're ready to step up to the next row. That's where you want to tie off. That way you can start up any place you want to, and it's no big deal. If you stop midway through a row, you're going to have to start in that one particular spot, and you know, it just makes it simpler later on. You don't have to think through all this stuff and make more mistakes and spend a bunch of time. That's why it's really important as a beater to either get it right or keep your hair cut short. One of the two. So once I cleaned up all this, you can see we took quite a bit more off of this side right here. But I wanted to go in and examine that missing bead. And no, I didn't mess up. That bead has indeed broken off. Right there. There's 2 lines in there. Now, there is no way to get a bead back on there. They're glass. Oh, you know, probably there's some kind of like beading magician out there that knows how to do this stuff. But for me, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm here. I might as well do it. I don't have any more of the original red Toho beads. They're gone who knows where. So I got something that's close. I'm going to go ahead and replace that. And I'll just go in and tie in, thread that one through, tie back off. That's it. And yes, there will be 2 threads that are just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. But, you know, that's life. Loose ends. It never gets fixed. Okay, so we went ahead and sewed on all the beads that we could to get it symmetrical. Did have to pull out some new white ones because some of them were gone from the rip. And now it's all that's left is to put some black on each end and put on the leather. I've gone ahead and grabbed some. I haven't sized it yet, but we'll get to that. So let's go ahead and put on a couple rows on each end. You see we got a little room. I've learned to keep it a little bit short. These things do spread and they do whatever. So, you know, it's okay to have it sticking up out. So I think we'll just go with, you know, 2 rows to put a black bead on each one and then have a look at it. Of course, the thing is, I'm only threaded up on this end. So if I wanted to keep it super symmetrical, yeah. So I think one end we'll definitely put 1 black line, and then we may put a little bit more on the other end, and that'll be it. Yeah, sometimes you gotta bead where you can. Of course, sometimes you gotta bead near heavy construction. That's how it goes. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, you know? Yeah. Works for me. We've got the beading all done, and it's time for the bottom. The other bottom was totally foobarred. One thing I did notice, this lighter back then, I hadn't shifted over to Fireline yet. I was still using Nemo, which is, you know, what's a good word? Shittier? Yeah, that's one that works for me. So I'm using this Fireline here. I'll get that bottom on, and that'll be it. So, you know, doing these bottoms, and I got a video devoted just to how to do this, but where to cut when it comes to the pattern. You know, I just put that thing on there and trace it out with this pen here. Done. Right? Where should you cut? Should you cut outside? Should you cut inside? What have you? You know, it just depends on how you're feeling and what you want, what kind of effect you want to have. Now, with this lighter, you can see we're right up near the end. So what I want to do is I actually want to have the edge of it down below a little bit here. So I'm going to cut inside the blue line a bit and make it plop down inside, and then sew that thing up as tight as I can so it will provide a thing. Now, the risk you run there is that stuff could pinch right there and pop beads. You know, there's no good answer. Just do your best. That's all anybody freaking wants anyway. Just do your best. It's not rocket science. Alright, there it is. Put the bottom on. It's on there freaking tight. Yeah? Look at that. So, went from a tore up piece of shit to this. And I only had to add 1 bead that was really noticeable, but you'd have to look for it to find it. That's all there is to it. Guess I better test it out. Hell yeah. So if you have any questions about the repairs or anything detailed, let me know. I mean, there's not a lot to it. You just gotta have the beads and the time and the location and a sunny day if you're doing it outside. Have a good one. As a side note, I've relocated from Western Oregon out to Sturgis, South Dakota. It's my new home. But Just me. And my new family, of which I am the youngest son now. But it's cool. It's freaking cool.